Welcome, everybody. Today's a really special day. It is a Monday. Maybe that's not the special part, but it is a special day because today we're doing our super long 1 hour live Q&A so that we can really have time together. So as I wait for you all to dive in, we're just going to listen to some music and start moving our bodies a little bit. Hello. Amazing. Could you do me a favor and just type in yes if you can hear the music? So I guess that's a no. You can't hear it. Let me see. Oh, yes. Okay, good. Excellent. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Perfect. Okay. Hopefully the music is loud enough as well. Welcome. Okay. So we're going to get started now. I want to really thank you for your attention and participation over the last 2 weeks. But before we do our Vegas exercise today, I want to just take a moment to acknowledge how awesome you are for investing in your children by showing up and putting these key concepts into practice. You're breaking generational patterns and raising children who are unconditionally confident. So to celebrate, let's go back to day 1 and day 10 of our Vegas exercises. And again, we've got some music playing today, so to help us along with that. So we're going to start with a gentle spine twist and then a quick dance. So let's go ahead and do that. If everybody remembers, for the spine twist, we're just going to put our hands on our shoulders like this, thumbs behind, 4 fingers in front, arms up. And we're going to twist to the left. This is the left for me. I think it might be in reverse for you. Twist to the left and then twist to the right. But on our inhales, we'll be going left through the nose and then exhale through the nose when we go to the right. So let's just do that for just a few seconds right now. All right, let's go ahead. And we're going to go inhaling, exhaling. Beautiful. And when you're doing this on your own, you can do it for about a minute. And again, remembering inhale and exhale through the nose. Those are the best ways to do it for our vagus nerve. And if you can't do it through the nose, a straw breath. Imagine a straw and you're blowing through that through your mouth. Beautiful. And we're just going to do one more. We're going to just dance a little. Just be silly, goofy, move your body, feel the music. Hopefully you can hear it. And just give yourself that space to move, stretch if you want to, whatever feels good to your body this morning. Amazing. And as you're continuing, I'm just going to go and pause the music so we can get started. Okay, that worked. I was concerned it may not. So it did. Amazing. Beautiful. Okay, so to continue to celebrate, I want to reveal the winner of the signed copy of my book, which I don't think I've ever shown you all. Too Tired to Parent, Take the CAR. Yes, another acronym. CAR stands for Care, Self-Care, Awareness, and Reflection. So the winner, after doing one of those little online spins of the book, Too Tired to Parent, Take the CAR, is at Jyoti Creative Wellness. Yay! Amazing. And the winner of my self-paced course, The Renewed Parent Method, is Ratna Bhat1. So yay! Thank you to Jyoti and Ratna for being here through the Fair Parent Challenge. And you are the winners. I will direct message each of you to organize getting those to you. All right, before we dive into the Q&A part, I did promise to share one of the most important parts of being a parent: repair. Now, you may be wondering why I would leave such an important part of parenting till the end. Well, because we always leave the best for last, right? But actually, I left it because without understanding what being a fair parent looks and feels like by doing the challenge, along with beginning to practice the rest part of the fair parent and re-engaging our nervous system through the vagus exercises, unless we do that, it's very, very hard to repair. So saying sorry to our child is not something most parents feel good about doing, right? Even though after we yell or say something we regret, we feel that dreaded sensation of guilt, apologizing seems to take a lot out of us. And when I ask parents I work with about apologizing, many say, well, if I apologize, I feel like I'm going to make myself look weak, and then they're going to walk all over me. Or they justify their position. If I don't yell, they don't listen, so I had no choice. I don't need to apologize for that. Now, I want you to just take an example here and imagine this scenario. I'm going to be showing you the entire process of repair through this scenario, so it's a little bit of a step-by-step process. All right, so I want you to imagine this. It's the morning. You've already chatted with your 10-year-old about waking up at 7 a.m. and getting ready for school before they come downstairs at 7:30 for breakfast. Now, you've been down for a while. You're getting their lunch packed. You're making breakfast. It's now 7:40. Yet, once again, no one is downstairs. So you find yourself getting frustrated. You're trying to be patient, but now it's 7:50 a.m. You have to leave at 8 or you're going to be late again. So you try to be nice. You take a deep breath, put a smile on your face, and start calling out to them. Come downstairs. Breakfast is ready. It's getting cold. Nothing. So you say it louder. You use their name. We'll say, Riley, come down. We're going to be late. Now you're getting annoyed. This is ridiculous. We've talked about this. They're trying to ruin my day. So they finally come down. Where were you? You know we have to leave at 8. How are you supposed to eat now? We just have to, just go grab this granola bar. You'll have to eat it on our way. Riley leisurely starts to get their shoes on. You're staring at them in disbelief at how slowly they're moving. And then they say, where's my backpack? Are you kidding me? You don't know where your backpack is? What is wrong with you? I'm going to be late. You don't care about anybody but yourself. Then you feel that dreaded pang of guilt. But there's no time to feel bad right now, so you angrily say, here's your backpack. Now let's go. You're making me crazy. The whole way to school, you're feeling frustrated, worried about how they will ever be independent adults, and guilty for yelling and calling them basically selfish. Now, you don't know what to say, so you just stay silent, spinning with all these thoughts as you're getting to school. Once you're at school, you say a quick goodbye with a sort of a hug, and then you turn around and feel like you're going to break down. Now, in the background of your mind, the way you spoke to them is eating at you, but you're also at your wit's end with what to do with them. Okay, so it's evening now, and you're getting them ready for bed. Thankfully, you have time to talk with them when they're lying in bed. Now, here comes a very honest attempt at repair. Riley, I'm sorry I yelled at you this morning, but if you would just be on time like we talked about, then I wouldn't have to. Consequence? No repair. They may say, it's fine, like meaning accepting your apology, because they don't really know what to do or say to that. Now you might wonder, well, why isn't that enough? I said sorry. You said sorry, and honestly, that's amazing, and it's a great start. And the but, if you would just, right? If you would just listen, if you would just, that conditional statement, it didn't make anything better. It just simply tells the child that in the end, I, the parent, was right or justified. So they don't feel seen or soothed, as we know those are key components to building a secure attachment and developing unconditional confidence. So your child is still holding what they internalized, that they're selfish, and that they then go to sleep believing that label, I'm selfish. I'm someone who doesn't care about anyone, I guess. I guess I'm bad. Now you may say, but they didn't listen. I talked to them about waking up and coming down on time and they still didn't do it. Sure, I understand. I didn't have to say you don't care about anybody, but I don't know anyone who wouldn't have yelled at their kid in that situation. It's so frustrating. Honestly, I agree with you. It is. Most of us would have reacted with frustration and some kind of yelling. That's why we are talking about repair. Once we've reacted in ways that at some level we know weren't helpful, we can learn how to repair so we are all heard. Okay, so let's try this out. It's bedtime and everyone is settling down. You say, hey, I want to let you know I'm really sorry for yelling at you this morning and saying things I said, right? Saying that you were not a caring person. That's straight empathy. I'm sorry for what I made you feel, right? What that feeling was. And that must have really hurt. Straight empathy. Then you say, you're an amazing kid. Going back to acknowledging, right? So these are part of the Fair Parent acronym. And then you're going to step in, you're going to say, I'm wondering if you could talk about a way to help you come downstairs on time. The reason we can say this now is that we've made a connection with them. We've acknowledged through empathy, owning and empathy, and then we are shifting into commenting on them being amazing, and now we can bring it back to problem solving. So you can acknowledge it's hard to get moving in the morning, I know, and we also can't be late. So can we figure out what we can do instead? Now maybe it'll be a different day when you sit together and brainstorm some ideas, or it might be right then. You'll know. But the key takeaway here is saying sorry without blaming them. Now this change in how we repair takes time, or even starting to repair this one, it takes time and self-reflection. Without rest, we will keep the same pattern going. It's very, very difficult to change if we're exhausted. So prioritizing self-care is the key to real change. Practicing Vegas exercises like we've been doing every day together when we start this process, taking moments for yourself, getting to know yourself, they're all necessary ingredients to becoming a fair parent. So give yourself some grace. Parenting will never be perfect. To be honest, perfect parenting is making mistakes, owning them, and over time working on ourselves to make sure we don't end up relying on saying sorry over and over again. So our job is to learn, implement, and grow as people and parents so we can give our children the secure attachment that they need to become unconditionally confident. Well, listen, I still have those parenting moments too. But because the kids and I have a connected, safe, and honest relationship, which obviously I worked at in creating, we can now work through them. It got to the point where we can't even remember some of the past hard times because they were resolved through a healthy repair. So as I was thinking about building out this session, I was chatting with Priyana about times she remembers when I hurt her feelings. Now we both had a hard time actually remembering because of what I just said, that we'd already resolved them, which is lovely, so they just dissolve away. Except for one that stood out to her. And then we started laughing because we realized that she remembers it because I didn't repair. So we actually took a moment right then and we ended up having a really heartfelt conversation about it. It was truly with a genuine apology for me for missing the boat on that one. Owning that I was really wrong with how I'd handled that situation, and I'm sorry. And then it repaired. I checked with her, how are you feeling about it? Right? We had a really good hug and a cry, and then we're much better with that now too. One thing I will say, I asked her, I'm like, do you think this is just gone now? Because it was a pretty big thing. And she's like, I don't know yet. I think so. Right now it is anyways, so I'll let you know. Which is so wonderful. So it keeps the dialogue going, right? When they're bigger things, they can still sort of be sitting with them. So giving them a chance to kind of flow with it and then still checking in and saying, hey, how are you feeling about that? Maybe in a week or two I'll do that. All right, remember, this is a learning curve for all of us. You are amazing for being part of the ones who are choosing to learn and implement changes. Not as many people as you would think do this work, so good for you. Now, if you don't already, please remember to follow me, and then if you're watching on YouTube or somewhere else, subscribe. I will do more posts with new or reminder tips and challenges to help you stay on track. We all need support as we make these meaningful changes. Okay, it is Q&A time. So thank you to those of you who submitted questions. I will answer them all now. I'm going to be answering them in the order that they were submitted. But if you who are joining live, and thank you for being here live, I love it. If you have questions, please enter them, and I think you can put it in the comment section on your phone and Instagram, and it should pop up and I should be able to see them. So I will start with the questions that were submitted, and then we'll also attend to the live ones over the next 45 minutes. We've got a lot of time, so that's great. Okay, question 1. So I spend a lot of time with my 13-year-old child who has anxiety. Recently, my other son is becoming more angry, fearful, and rude to me. What can I do? Now, this is more common than we think. So many parents feel like one needs us more or demands more of us while the other sits back and misses out. It's a really hard situation to be in. So when your 13-year-old, this is to answer the question now, when your 13-year-old is at school or with a friend, create a special date with your other son, right? It's really important here because you can also repair with that other son. Right? Repairing isn't always about, repairing because I yelled, right? That's a typical thing we think of when we want to repair something. But repair is also about when we end up neglecting at some level, right? It's a little more passive, but it's still important to acknowledge that, you know what, I'm really sorry that I haven't been present or really taking an interest in you, right? It's being aware of when we're not, being there for them and letting them know, I've seen that this is happening. I know that I've spent a lot of time with your brother and it's a lot, and I'm sorry for not being able to spend as much time with you. Let's set up a date together, right? And have that. It's a special, when they're really little, I like to call it special, Priyana mommy time or Talina mommy time kind of idea, which, by the way, I like to do anyways, just proactively. But if it's a reactive repair type of thing, you can also acknowledge and then set that up with them so that even though most of the time you're spending the time with the one child, you're really giving good quality time to the other when you're with them. Right? Our children don't need quantity, they need quality time with us. All right. So the thing is that we're typically able to give our children physical safety and all that, but this emotional safety that your son is looking for through seeing them and soothing them, it's a big part of implementing and practicing being a fair parent. So the reality is I need you to start practicing the fair parent, go through the challenge again and do the little exercises each day so we start to embody that, right? And then come back again and let them know that I'm sorry, I totally understand how frustrated you are. And this is to your son again, and how unfair it is. I wish I could spend more time with you. Right? You're so amazing. Let's start with a date night. Where do you want to go? This would be the dialogue you say to them. And as you continue to practice being a fair parent, you'll notice little things that he'll be able to take in, acknowledging him, right? You're amazing. Randomly, they walk by, oh my gosh, you're so amazing, right? Not because you are X or Y, just you're so amazing. Randomly affirm, right? Let them know, hey, you know what? I am here. I know it's hard, it feels like I'm not, and I'm here for you. I've got you, right? And then be present when you are with them, right? When you are with that child who's feeling the neglect, be fully present. And in order to do that again, do the rest, right? Take those moments of rest, even if they're just 2 minutes, right? Those are important. And then show yourself and your children empathy. Right? I get how hard all of this is on me, on all of us. Okay, so that was a long answer to question 1. I hope you found that helpful. Okay, number 2. Oh yeah, the other night we were watching TV that went 30 minutes past bedtime. They asked if they could finish the show. I said, okay, as long as when we went upstairs, they brushed their teeth and straight to bed, go straight to bed. Unfortunately, when we went up, They did everything but what they were supposed to do. They looked at their comics, their phones, went into each other's rooms. So I lost it and started yelling. And soon we were all yelling. What could I have done to prevent the yelling? Yes, definitely. Here you are thinking, I'm being so nice, right? I'm like, sure, no problem. And this is a question I'm sure many, many people can also relate to. So thank you for submitting this. So the response I would go with is this. What usually is happening in this scenario is that we didn't really actually get their attention when we made the ask or we made the condition afterwards, right? So they just said, hey, can we watch for 30 more minutes? It's just, if you want to finish the show or whatever. And then you're just saying, yes, as long as you brush your teeth and get ready for bed immediately, then no problem. While you're saying this, they're probably not actually taking it in. So it's very important for us to actually step in and go, hey, I hear you. Pause the TV and say, here's the deal, right? It's okay for you guys to watch 30 more minutes. I don't mind. It's all cool. And when it's done, the second it's done, I need you both to go upstairs, or all of you to go upstairs and go straight to bed, right? Brush your teeth, get into the bed. Do we have a deal? And get them to acknowledge it, right? They're probably going to just be like, yeah, whatever, Mom. Yeah, it's a deal. Just say, I just need to know for sure you get it. And maybe have them repeat it, which could be annoying. And at the end of the day, they're getting the extra 30 minutes. So as long as you're firm and clear about it, not angry about it, you'll be good with them, right? Now, if for some reason they still don't listen, you may need to give them like one firm reminder. And if they still don't, you can be very straightforward and say, listen, I've been really fair about this, right? Which is a key word. When you have been, you have been. If you can't be fair in return by following through with what we talked about, then I won't be able to say yes to requests like this in the future. It's just factual. No tone. No, it's just straight up, okay? This is the reality. All right, beautiful. So hopefully that was helpful, and you can implement that next time they make this request, which I'm sure they will. Number 3, when playing with other kids, my son sometimes says, oh, you suck, right? If the other child isn't playing well. I told him to stop repeatedly. How can I get him to stop? So you're basically, yes, your child is playing with somebody and the other person's not doing a great job, so they're frustrated and they say you suck. Okay. So in this situation, separately, not in the moment, at a different time, you're going to show them the formula we talked about. Empathy and facts, right? So it seems like you feel really annoyed or frustrated when the other kids aren't playing the way you think they should. That's the empathy. Right? There's no lessons, there's no evidence, explanations, nothing in there, just straight empathy. It seems like you feel frustrated when this happens, right? Then you could say, what do you think they're feeling when you say they suck? Just wondering. It's not like, what do you think they're feeling when you say they suck? Not with a tone, just a reflection. What do you think they're feeling when you say they suck? Pause, start the conversation. They might just say, I don't know. Say, okay. What would you feel if someone told you suck? And staying with that, right? Just factually. We're not going into like a lesson mode. We're just reflecting with them. And then you could go on to say, and what do you think will happen to your friendship if you keep telling people they suck? Just be curious, right? Just wondering. And then you can have a redirect. I wonder what you can say instead when you're feeling that frustration. And then brainstorm some other options with them. Remember, it's very important to do all of these things not in the moment while they're playing with the child, right? That's not going to get you anywhere. It's just going to be evoking embarrassment and things like that. So this is a conversation to have later when you're sort of having some calm time together and you can chat about it and reflect like this and come up with an alternative. Because the reality is our children don't really know what to do with their feelings that are overwhelming or uncomfortable or just feeling, annoyed. They don't know what to do. So then these things come out, right? And then that's where they use names like blaming and things like that as a way to cope with that. All right. Number 4. And remember, if you're having any questions that are coming up for you as I'm talking, please throw them into the comment section. Otherwise, I'll just keep on going. I do have 8 submissions, which is awesome. Number 4. How do I help my child become more responsible so they're ready for adult life? Yes. Right. This is so it sort of overwhelms parents in terms of wondering if they're going to be ready. It's like, this is our job, is to prepare them to become adults, which, sure, of course it is. But it sort of preoccupies us. And often this question is asked at a time when it's not realistic, right? Our children's brains are developing. Being responsible, being organized, all of that, it comes with time, with experience and processing and willingness to fail, right? So that we can then learn and with self-compassion. Then our brain develops in this full kind of way. So what I'll first say is, are you having realistic expectations? Which, if you go back to day 4 of Fair Parent, we go over what realistic expectations are. Now, after that, of course, you can give responsibilities, right, depending on the age and doing it realistically. Things like helping to empty the dishwasher, helping you think about what to cook for dinner this week, like making a meal plan. I know that was a very helpful one for me. So having some support in that. Cleaning with you, right? Don't just tell them what to do, by the way, right? Don't just say, hey, go clean your room. Start by doing it together. Then allow them to go out on their own and do it. Connection is key here, right, to teaching that responsibility. Connecting, doing it with them, to show them, helps them see how to do it, right? And then getting them to do it with you so that it's a joined event, really. Then you can remind them a few times because it's going to take a little bit to get that moving. And then help them like plan reminders, maybe in their phone or something like that. And then encourage them, right? This is how we will start to teach them and get them to be and learn responsibility. All right, number 5. How do I get my child to be more aware of their time management? Okay, yeah, so that's very similar actually to responsibilities. It's still part of realistic expectations, but it's also really important to know about executive functioning and their brain development. So our executive functioning is our prefrontal cortex, and it talks about planning, organization, our empathy, and that develops over many years. So they used to say when I first started in psychology that it wasn't until the age of 25 that our brains fully developed. But now they're saying it's not till 30. So I'm not sure if that's from all the stimulation and overwhelm that we're having with technology, etc. That's a negative part of technology. I'm not sure, but it doesn't really matter. We just need to understand that the brain doesn't develop and they're not ready to go at 17. Right? That doesn't mean they can't go out in the world and learn, but that's where it comes back to us, knowing that we're there for them as they fall, and then there's someone to soothe them and comfort them and send them back out there. This is how they develop their unconditional confidence and their brain, right? So, oh, by the way, when we're growing our brain, let's say, if we've had a lot of difficult challenges in life, it also slows it down and it alters it a bit. So this is where our job to soothe them is so helpful because it releases it. So going back to the example with Priyana, when we repaired that situation, anything that was possibly stalling or keeping her stuck in that area of the content of what we were talking about is now being released so that those neurons can now fire in a more full way. All right. So to help with brain development, we want to be realistic with our expectations and be conscious of not imposing this idea of they should know by now. Right? Because as soon as we say that you should be able to do this by now, you're 12, you're 15, you're whatever, we're instilling shame. And shame keeps us stuck. Right? That's very important to remember. Shame keeps us stuck. So instead, if they're having trouble, acknowledge that and then brainstorm with them, right? Ideas again. How else can we work on this time management piece? Right? How else can we be on time? What are some things we can do versus you should just be on time by now? How do you not know to be on time? Right? And it's also, of course, helpful to role model things like meditation or breath work because they are known to help with the growth of our executive functioning. Great questions so far. These are amazing. I see a question in the chat as well. So let me answer that one actually right now. Just a second. I got to look at the screen here. Thank you. So my 5-year-old says that someone kicked him in the head at school. Ooh. And he didn't say or tell anyone because he was shocked, of course. This is his usual response whenever someone hurts him. Silence. How to help. I just want to make sure there's not more to the question. No. Okay, good. I'm so sorry that happened, of course, to your child. That's really awful. So the first step, of course, would be to, obviously he must have told you because you know, so to, of course, comfort him and let him know you're there, right? It's not about the other person or the person who kicked him, not in the beginning. It's all about just soothing him, right? That's the first part. And then the next part would be to actually help him find out, like, what happens for you when you get kicked or somebody hurts you, and just start to become, do you feel something in your tummy? Do you feel something in your chest? Like, what do you feel? Do you feel any sensations, butterflies, anything like that? Like, try and make it like, does it feel like there's like a monkey in your stomach? Like, try and make it, he's age appropriate because he's 5. And a little bit funny, so he starts to break into being able to open and talk about it. And start to identify that, right? And then it's about helping him, like, just acknowledge that part when he gets hurt. Now, he doesn't have to, at 5 years old, respond in the moment to somebody, right? Ideally, of course, we can say, and then you can just really openly say, please stop, that hurts me, right? And then step away, right? Redirect them, step away, go find a teacher in this case. But I think the key is that we don't want to break the silence necessarily right out of the gate for him yet, because he's still navigating all the feelings he's experiencing. So he gets hit, he's shocked, like you said, and then he just sort of shuts down for a bit. And I get that. So as you are soothing him when he tells you and shares with you, then he'll internalize that soothing and he'll be able to apply it in vivo as he grows. All right. Hopefully that was helpful to you. You can throw it in the comment if there's some other question that came up from that for you, or if that was okay. And then I'll move to the next question. All right. Number 6 here. As a parent, you can not help but to ask what's wrong when your kids seem visibly upset. Now, if they don't want to talk about it, how long should you wait? It's difficult for parents to be helpless or to feel helpless when you see your kids suffer. 100%. It is so hard to see your child upset. Right? If they don't want to talk about it, that's okay. So it's a very similar question, actually, interesting. Tell them, I'm sorry it's so hard right now. I love you, and I'm here to talk anytime you're ready. Then you go and soothe yourself. Okay, this is where that rest piece is important. Be fabulous, which we talked about in throughout the Fair Parent, is helpful for a strategy to self-soothe. Right? Because it is so hard to see our child be upset. Now, I'm assuming in this case they're upset with someone else, like because of something else versus you. So that's important. So I want you to really remind yourself in that moment, and this is part of BFAB, that even though they're upset right now, everyone is still safe right here, right now. And we can work through this, right, with them when they're ready. Now, if your relationship isn't very connected right now with your child, they may not trust that you can handle their distress. So if you watched T for Trust, we talked a lot about this there, so you can review that one again as well. so the key here is to work through being a fair parent. That will start to change your connection with them over time, which will then allow them to open up more, right? Knowing you're really there for them. And when you work on your vagus exercises, it really allows you to stay present and be able to handle whatever they tell you. Amazing. Okay, I'm going to pop back to a response. Thank you to that last one about being kicked in the head. Yes, should I talk to his teacher about the kicking incident? Silly, but I don't know what I would say. Teachers are so overworked already. Well, oops. Thank you for being compassionate to the teachers, because it is a lot on them, no doubt. Kicking in the head is a very serious concern. So I would definitely alert them to it so that that doesn't happen, because that's harmful, right? And thank you for alerting me to that. That's absolutely an important next step as well. I was focused on what you do as a parent, so for your child. But yes, that's also part of being a good parent, is to be able to know when to talk to another adult about it. So in this particular case, because it's physically harmful and it needs to stop, you do need to talk to them. When they're emotionally harmful, like bullying comments and all of that, we can still talk to the teacher, but it's not about tattletaling, right? It's about coming and saying, I'm very concerned, not sure what's happening for this other child, and this is what's happening to my son. So I just wanted to see if we can find a way to stop this, right? That's definitely an important piece. Now, as children grow older, I know your son is 5. As children get older, it becomes a little more complicated for going to the teacher and telling. I'm talking about when they're 13, 14, 15. So that's where our conversation, our connection is so important with them, so that we can help them navigate it and then figure out whether they want to go and tell the administration about something. Beautiful. Okay. Number 7. When a child wants something badly, like getting tattoos, hair bleach, piercing, etc., which is against your beliefs, but they argue everyone has it, and in some cases they do, how do you speak to them when all they want is for you to give in? Ooh, this is a good one. This was a hard one for me too. For those of you who have seen my daughter, she now has blue hair, which I love actually, but it was not with some original hesitation, for sure. So, as a South Asian, for me, we were raised to believe dyeing your hair like all different colors, right? Piercings in non-stereotypical places, getting tattoos, they all symbolize sort of being a bad person, right? They're trouble, right? Is kind of how we were raised to think or believe. At least we were in my family. So we have to start, when I make this request, by comforting ourselves first, right? You're going to be like, if you decide to go along with your child, you're going to be going against generational taboos. They're wired in your nervous system, right? So you'll be heightened when they even request something like this. So let's start by first breathing ourselves, right? The 4 in, 6 out, both ways through the nose breath. And then look inward, right? Take a pause and look inward. What are my actual beliefs about them today? Here, right? Mine, not what was imposed on me, but mine. And this takes a little bit of time and reflection. But what is true about what they are asking for today? Right? I had long conversations with Priyana about her desire to dye her hair. She got a few extra piercings in her ear. Now, she did a lot of research, presented me with the non-toxic parts of it and what parts become toxic. Anyway, she was good. She sort of sold it to me. But it was still, I could feel it was causing me real distress. And this was the belief system that was imposed on me. So, again, I sat with it, and I really just listened to her desire about why she wants to do this. Why is it important to her? And she really expressed that this is a way that I express myself, through my hair, through some piercings. Like it's important. And for her, she felt like it was like a creative part of her. So I want you to ask your child why they want it in a very open, curious way. Now, why would you want that? Right? That's not being a fair parent. That's just reacting, right? So really curious. You know what? Okay, so I hear you. You really want to dye your hair. Let's talk about that. Right? Open up the discussion with them and see where that goes. Excellent. All right, and question 8. We have a sassy 6-year-old daughter who likes to test our boundaries. When she's defiant, she can really push our buttons. For example, if my husband is trying to talk to me, she will interrupt and start talking louder so I can't hear my husband. We've talked about manners and asked her to wait until my husband is finished talking, since he was first, and then we can tell her she can speak right after him. Instead of waiting, she talks louder over my husband, and then if we get upset with her, she'll stick her tongue out or walk away or shake her bum at us, right? And it's hard not to get into a yelling match with her. How do we tell her or reason with her when she is incessant and more defiant in the moment? Great question. Again, very relatable. I've heard many parents come to me and share almost the exact same scenario. So you're not alone. I realize that's not going to help you here, so I will share my thoughts on that. But just know you're not alone. It's a very, very common experience, and there is usually a reason for it, and the reason is connection. So your child wants to feel seen in that moment. Now maybe you're having a conversation with your husband and she wants to be part of it, right? So inviting her in to chat with you all would be lovely. Children have a lot of wisdom, a lot to say, and they can participate in conversations with us. So it's really important that if we're just chatting with someone, a friend, our husband, whoever, then just invite them in with you when they come, rather than, go play. So this is an important piece. Now, if it's an adult conversation, which usually it is in these situations, it's possible that she is feeling some tension, right, within each of you. And because of that, she wants to kind of jump in and make sure everything's okay and feel seen and soothed, right? Now, the reality is that our children's intuition is off the charts when it comes to how we are feeling, right? They're super sensitive in a healthy way, like a good way, around knowing and feeling what's going on, which is why, again, that self-care is so important. So I want you to consider your own energy, right? If she's really insisting, it's because some part of her is likely feeling uncomfortable and distressed, and she doesn't like it, so she wants to override, right? So the key here is to respond to her by acknowledging, hey, you know what? I'm here, come on in, join us. Or if you're both feeling like dysregulated, it's a serious conversation or a conversation that just, again, isn't for her, let's try not to have those conversations in front of her, first of all. And second, let's work on really soothing our own systems, right? This is where those vagus exercises are so important, right? Because they help us regulate our entire nervous system so that we can actually stay calm even when we're having difficult conversations with another adult, right? Our energy stays calm. So I will say that, going back to your question here specifically, her sticking her tongue out or shaking her bum at you in this, kind of, I'm sure you experienced that as sort of rude or disrespectful way is her way of coping with distress, either the distress of not being seen or the distress of not feeling comfortable. All right. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't teach our children patience. I am saying to consider what may be happening for them. What could they be experiencing that they're behaving this way right now? So what you're doing then is you're giving the benefit of the doubt first, right? And then again, all best parenting guidance comes not in the moment. It comes at a different time when you're both hanging out, you're calm, and you're connected, and you can just say, hey, remember yesterday when Mommy and Daddy were talking, and then you came and you stuck your tongue out at us? What was going on for you? Check in, and then that conversation may go somewhere just based on that, but then you can say, what else could we do if you're feeling like you need to talk to us? What else can we do? And give her a redirect. Give her something that she can do while she's waiting, because children need to be helped and guided on what else can I do while I wait, right? And of course now my mind is saying, yeah, but people say they need to learn how to be bored and still, which I agree with. I'm not saying they have to be you have to go and get them a puzzle or something, but it's really help them find something to engage in that is just calming for them, right? That is just allowing them to just be while they're waiting. You said she's 6. So yeah, 6 is a little young to believe that they'll be able to necessarily just sit alone. Some kids are great at that. Some kids aren't. Again, know your child. And that's part of, understanding where they are on that scale of introversion, extroversion, right? Kids who are more on the extroverted side need even more connection. They thrive on that, right? The kids who are on the introverted side, they need the space to be able to replenish. So know your child, right? Because that's very important. It's an important part of who they are, and we want to honor that. Excellent. Okay. So those are the questions that were submitted, and if there's any more, please throw them in the live here. Thank you for doing that, and thank you to everyone who submitted those very relatable and important questions. It's very, very helpful to everybody who watches live, watches the replay, because even if the answers don't resonate necessarily for you, just hearing others and knowing that we're not alone is so, so important. Amazing. All right, so we are coming to the end of the 10-day challenge of Become a Fair Parent and Raise Unconditionally Confident Kids. Now, I do want you to continue to join me here on Instagram. And if you're watching on another platform, keep watching there as well, because I will keep posting and sharing. Now, I do want to just mention that if you're a South Asian parent and you want to learn how to break generational patterns and be supported through the parenting journey with me and a community of other like-minded parents, then please click on the link in my bio, which is for the I Believe in You or the IB League. And you can discover more there. I would love to see you in there with me. I really want to create a collective of amazing parents who really recognize the importance of being proactive and having this growth mindset with ourselves and our children. So if you're interested, I would love for you to join me there. Click the link in my bio, IB League, and you can find out more. Now, if you're a person who enjoys doing self-paced work, please check out my Renewed Parent Method course. Link is also in my bio, and it is a program that you can hear from the title, focuses on renewing us as parents, renewing our energy, renewing the way we parent, and all of the beautiful things that we need to do to become these proactive parents. So there are options for you. And of course, there's my book, Too Tired to Parent, Take the Car. It's more of a little manual, to be honest, that takes you through a step-by-step process for becoming self-caring, self-aware, and self-reflective. Excellent. So I want to really thank you all for being here and investing in your amazing children, because that's what it is. When you are here spending your time learning and implementing, you are investing in your children. So good for you. I'm just so amazed and happy that you're doing this and joining on this journey. So I have about 10 minutes left. If any more questions are coming up, let me know. And in the meantime, we can do a little more moving and dancing and just have some fun. And maybe I'll just share some thoughts as we do that. But let me see if I can turn the music back on. I don't know if it will. Nope. Okay, let me see if I can do it here without losing you all. Okay, good, you're still here. Okay, amazing. Oh, it went away again. Oh dear. Okay, anyways, apparently this is not a good idea. So, the music part. But yeah, if you have a question, please throw it in there. If you have a comment, throw it in there for me. Oh, the music's back. Okay. And it's really important. I want to really just, again, move our bodies, allow ourselves to just enjoy the moment. It's a beautiful day here in Toronto. Actually, I want to share with you that for my own self-care, starting doing this Fair Parent Challenge, I decided to, wake up and have a really particular routine. I always had a bit of one, but this one I incorporated the idea of getting our circadian rhythm in check by stepping outside first thing in the morning for a few minutes and seeing the daylight. Ideally it's the sunlight, but just being outside is fine too. So we want to really look at how beautiful it can be to step outside and take that daylight in. So I have to try it because I've heard a lot of research about it, and it really changed my mood, my state, my ability to get through the day. I was actually quite shocked at just how profound an impact it was having. And I have to say, I was only out there for like 1 or 2 minutes. It wasn't like it took up 10, 20 minutes of my time. I know the research says if it's a cloudy day, it's like 10 minutes. If it's a sunny day, it could actually be 1 to 5 minutes, which I didn't know at the time, but I found that out. So this is an important little thing you can do for yourself. In the morning, step outside, step onto a balcony, just allow yourself to take in the daylight so that your circadian rhythm gets on track, and that will help us with our sleep, with our mood. There's a whole bunch of positive things that can come from it. So thank you for that, because if I wasn't going to be doing the Fair Parent Challenge, I don't think I would have started that. So that worked out really nicely. Another thing I want to mention is that for me personally, as a parent, I have had a journey, right? I was not this parent in the beginning at all, and I know that created a lot of problems for the kids when they were little. I think sometimes I used to call myself, in Bengali we would say it, but like a devil mom, it would come out, and I'm like, oh no, this is not good. So it was really, it took time. It took a desire to change. And for me, it was from seeing Talina's reaction to something that I had done, and I realized that I was really doing her a disservice. And so I started to be very intentional with my changes, and I created Fair Parent and Renewed Parent Method, wrote my book because I wanted to be able to share with you the journey. And what I did was I shared with you the journey that the parts that worked, right? So there's a lot of trial and error that goes with making the changes, but I wanted to bring you what I know works, both personally and of course clinically and from the research. So it's a combination of all those things. So I really appreciate you being here to continue that journey with me, right? And learn how to be a fair parent. One other part I want to just mention, since I have a few more minutes, is, again, if you want to join in with me, but while I'm waiting, the part about learning how to parent is only one piece. Unless we implement, it's just information that's within us. So ask yourself, if you're saying, yeah, this resonates, this makes sense to me, I would like to try and do that, or that makes, I really think that's great, then what do you need to do to help yourself so that you can actually implement it? That's why I made the Fair Parent Challenge, because there are easy steps each day to start to introduce what it means to actually practice it. So if you want, go back. The replays are always going to be there. So go back and do the challenge again so that you start to actually feel the difference and feel what it's like. Right? Not just know what it's like. That's a really critical piece. And finally, before I wrap up today and do a little more dancing with you all, I would love for you to sort of inundate yourself with others who do similar work, right? People say it's very confusing to follow a whole bunch of different parenting experts, but most of us are on the same page, or at least you can find the ones who are on the same page, right, with the way we're speaking and sharing. And then listen to it, because parenting is a language, right? It's in the tone, it's in our body language, it's partly in our words, but really it's about immersing yourself in that, because when you're in the space of it and you're hearing it more and more, it's easier to start repeating it, right? Just like if you were to go to Spain and learn Spanish there, it's much easier because you're hearing it consistently. So do that. Listen to podcasts, follow other people, watch this again and again if you want to. Like, whatever you need, there are resources out there to help you and feel supported in this. But there's so much accessible now, and I love that. So choose the people that you feel resonate to you, and then just keep listening. Right? Keep listening. Inundate yourself with their messages. Hear the language so that it starts to become part of you. Amazing. All right, we'll just do a little bit of movement and dancing again for the next 3 minutes. I would love, if you're still with me right now, to share what your favorite kind of vagus exercise was. If you know what some of the ones were. Did you like the breathing, 6 in, 6 out? Did you like the spine twist? How about movement, like dancing? Do you like, what else was there? There was the 4 in, 6 out breath as well for relaxation. There was gargling. Let me know if you enjoyed gargling. And if you're watching this as a replay, throw it in the comments, right? What else is there? Gargling. Then there is humming as well. That's a really nice one. Humming or singing actually works as well. So there's so many options. Oh, the cold ice, right, to regulate our system. That's the other another one that's really helpful. So what are some things that you love and you want to make sure you're doing more of? Personally, it is the spine twist. I love that. Of course, dancing, humming is lovely too. But for me, the spine twist and the dancing and the 6 in, 6 out breath on a daily basis is something I do. So I wake up with an alarm 20 minutes early, lie in bed, and because I'm able to, because my kids are older, I do my 20 minutes of 6 in, 6 out through the nose. Basically wake up, go down, do my daylight piece, and then have my coffee, green juice, and then, in the last little while, head up here and get ready for the live. So I really, really feel so honored that you have joined me here. And again, if you're watching the replay, thank you for watching. And yes, I'm going to wrap up today. So thank you, everybody. I will see you when I see you again. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. Take care.